Mr. Diaz, if you could state your full name and date of birth, sir.
Johnny Joseph Diaz, 31574.
All right, so you've got two separate cases here as well. And again, I'm going to start with the new matter that'll be out of Superior Court. The charges submitted in that case are 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, and 1 count of obstruction, that's a Class 2 misdemeanor, all of which have the offense date of June 28. In this case, the Public Defender or Office of Public Defense Services has been appointed to represent you. Your court dates are a status conference July 5th at 8:30, evidentiary hearing July 5th at 1:30, and a preliminary hearing July 8th at 8:30. Those are all going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. In your matter as well, I do show you're currently on felony release. That's in the other case we have here on the calendar. So again, because you were on felony release at the time this new offense allegedly occurred and probable cause was found here, you are required to be held at this point without bond, so you're not eligible for release in the new case.
Yeah.
And again, that is why we set those evidentiary hearings to allow them to review that. Your next case we have here is your open felony case. That's here because a bench warrant was issued for a failure to appear. Status conference now set July 8th at 8:30, so same thing. You've got a secured appearance bond in the amount of $7,500 in that matter. Any questions regarding either case?
No questions.
Okay, we'll go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Mr. Lopez, and then Jacob Jimenez is going to be up after that. It's Christian Lopez. All right, sir, go ahead and state your full name and date of birth.
Christian Alexis Lopez, January 11, 2004.
All right, thank you, sir. So you are here for 3 separate cases. The first one is the new matter you were just brought in on, and this is for a new case out of Superior Court that is alleging 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs and 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, both Class 4 felonies, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, 1 count of possession of a deadly or defaced weapon, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, Class 1 misdemeanor, all of which have an offense date of yesterday, June 27. So in this case, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed here to represent you. You currently have a status conference set on July 5th with the preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30. That's going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. You'll get all these addresses in your paperwork. Based on a review of your history, which does already include some priors for the same charge of possession of a prohibited or a prohibited possessor in possession of a weapon, including the fact you're currently on probation for that, I am going to go with the recommendation that was submitted by the state in this matter. That's a $20,000 secured appearance bond. That's not your primary hold, though, because your probation cases are also here. So your 2 probation matters are here for a Term 1 violation. So it's the new offense is what's triggered this particular violation. In each of those matters, you also have the public defender appointed to represent you. Revocation arraignment hearing July 5th at 8:30. Still at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court, but in those matters, you are not eligible for bond. So you're non-bondable in the probation case, pursuant to Rule 7.2 and 27.7 of the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure. And you'll get this information in your paperwork that you'll receive in a moment, but do you have any questions regarding any of these 3 cases I just mentioned?
Will I be able to get released further in the future, sometime in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. Is really the only answer that I can give you here today. It's not up to me, okay? So you're going to go off and see the probation judge for your 2 probation cases, as well as your assigned commissioner for your initial hearings, the status conference and prelim for the new charge that came in, okay? It's going to be entirely up to those later judges as to what happens with your release conditions. So is it possible? Sure, but it's entirely up to them, okay? Talk to your attorney, and they'll should be able to let you know, kind of give you an idea of what to anticipate.
Okay, miss.
Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we have Jacob Jimenez, and then Gabriel Rosales will be up next. Hi, Mr. Jimenez. Go and state your full name and date of birth.
Jacob Jimenez, 11/21/01.
All right, thank you, sir. You are here for 2 separate cases. I'm going to start with that new case out of Superior Court, which is alleging 1 count of armed robbery. That's a Class 2 felony, 1 count of disorderly conduct involving a weapon, a Class 6 felony with the offense date of yesterday, June 27. Public Defender's Office has been appointed to represent you. Status conference is currently set on July 5th, with that preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30 at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. I did receive a written recommendation from the state in your matter requesting a $50,000 secured appearance bond, and based on the nature of the offense that you're here for, I do believe that that is appropriate. So I did set a $50,000 secured appearance bond. It is secured. You are able to work with a bail bonding company. You do post bond and are released. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You're not to have any contact with any co-defendant in this matter, which does include Mr. Rosales, who is just about to walk in the courtroom. You are not to possess any weapons while on release. We do have a second case here for you, and this is for a warrant that was issued out of one of the city courts. It's out of the Goodyear Municipal Court. That's in their case number TR 2024-56. So in that matter, an arraignment hearing's been set July 3rd at 8:30 at the Goodyear Municipal Court. And in that matter, I did go ahead and do a $50 placeholder bond since you do have the more substantial bond in that felony case. I just wanted to make sure they know you're in custody in both matters. Since I did set a bond in the misdemeanor case, I did also appoint counsel to represent you for that issue as required pursuant to Rule 6.1. All right, any questions regarding either matter?
No questions.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so we've got Mr. Rosales and Leonardo Holguin will be up next. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth.
Gabriel Rosales, 11/20/97.
All right, thank you. So you are here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charges that were submitted in your matter are 1 count of armed robbery, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of unlawful discharge of a firearm, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of resisting arrest, Class 6 felony, 1 count of disorderly conduct, Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, that's a Class 1 misdemeanor. In your case, the Legal Defender's Office has been appointed to represent you, and the court dates here are a status conference set on July 5th, and that preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30 at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. I did also receive a written recommendation in your matter as well, requesting a $50,000 secured appearance bond. I'll tell you, I was actually considering a higher bond, but given that this is what the state has submitted as a recommendation, I will go with it. So you do have a $50,000 secured appearance bond. If you post bond and are released, you're also ordered not to return to the scene of the offense, not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, witness, and you're not to have any contact with your co-defendant, Mr. Jimenez, who is just in the courtroom here. You are, of course, not permitted to possess any weapons while on release. Any questions regarding this case?
No.
All right, sir, if you want to go and step over, we'll get that paperwork here to you shortly. You can have a seat at this time. All right, so we have Mr. Holguin. Lydia Jackson will be up after that.
Take a minute.
All right, Mr. Holguin,
Hello,
go state
Your
your
Honor.
full name and date of birth.
Leonardo Holguin, 3/8/1997.
Thank you, sir. You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charges here are 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs for sale, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, both Class 2 felonies, 1 count of transporting dangerous drugs for sale, 1 count of transporting narcotic drugs for sale, both Class 2 felonies, with the offense date of yesterday, June 27. In your case, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed here to represent you. You currently have a status conference set July 5th, preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30, and that's going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. In your case as well, I did receive a written recommendation from the state requesting a $25,000 cash-only appearance bond based on the amount of drugs that you were found in possession of, as well as the fact you were transporting those out of state and do not reside in Arizona. I do believe that that is appropriate. So you do have a $25,000 cash-only appearance bond. That is a cash bond, so that is different than the secured appearance bonds, okay?
What's that mean?
That means you have to post that full amount, so that's different than posting the percentage with security. So you'll get all that information in your paperwork that you'll receive in a moment. If you have any questions regarding any of it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, for doing this. This isn't me. I know there's no way I could talk out my way out of it, but
It won't.
yeah, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
All right.
that.
That's fine.
All right, so we have Ms. Jackson, and then we've got Ms. Graves up after that. Hi, ma'am, your full name and date of birth.
Lydia Jackson, 62003.
Thank you, ma'am. So you are here for a new case out of Superior Court as well. The charges here are going to be 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale. That's a Class 2 felony, 1 count of transporting narcotic drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony, 2 counts of conspiracy, Class 2 felony, and 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs. That is a Class 4 felony. All of these have the offense date of June 27, and the Legal Defender's Office has been appointed here to represent you. You do have a status conference set July 5th and a preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30. That will be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. I do understand your otherwise limited history here, but given the fact that you were in possession of a substantial amount of fentanyl, which is a narcotic drug that has caused our community a great deal of harm, and the fact that you do not currently live in Arizona, I am going to be setting a cash bond in your matter in the amount of $20,000. You're also going to be ordered not to have any contact with any alleged complainant or witness. You're also not to have contact with any co-defendant in your matter. We do have 2 co-defendants that were arrested with you. That does include Ms. Graves, who will be in the courtroom after you. We'll be giving you paperwork. It's going to have all that information in it. But, ma'am, do you have any questions regarding this?
I do have somewhere to resign here. My family out here.
It's not going to change anything today. You're about to board a plane out of state with this. So at this point, you are going to have a bond.
Okay.
All right? If you want to step over, though, we'll get that paperwork to you. All of your information will be in there. All right, so we do have Ms. Graves up next with Juan Berry up after that. All right, ma'am, your full name and date of birth.
Shariel Zakaya Graves, 05/15/2003.
Thank you, ma'am. So you are also here on a new case out of Superior Court, and this is also alleging 1 count of transporting narcotic drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, Class 2 felony, 2 counts of conspiracy, Class 2 felonies, and 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. Now, in this matter, the legal advocate has been appointed here to represent you, and you do currently have a status conference set on July 5th, preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30. That's going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. I'm sure you heard what I said to your co-defendant who was just in the courtroom with Ms. Jackson. For the same reason, I am going to be setting the same bond in your matter. So you do have a $20,000 cash-only appearance bond, also with the order that you are not to have contact with any alleged complainant, witness, or co-defendant, who does include both of the individuals you are arrested with, including Ms. Jackson. You will be receiving that information here in a minute, but do you have any questions regarding this?
Who was the other person? Because I only got arrested with her.
All right, I'll just let you know, and I don't know anything about this other than the fact that you were also listed as the same PF number, meaning that it's listed as a co-defendant with a Jose Arroyo Rubio. I don't have his case. I don't know anything about his case other than the fact that he's listed here. Okay? Any other questions regarding it?
No. But
all right.
I tried to
go ahead. All right. We've got Mr. Berry and Scott Rasmussen will be up next. All right, Mr. Berry, if you could state your full name and date of birth.
Juan Berry, 11/18/1986.
Thank you. So you are here on a new case out of Superior Court. The charges are 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession or use of a weapon during a drug offense, also a Class 4 felony, with the offense date of yesterday, June 27. In your case, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed here to represent you. We have a status conference set July 5th and a preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30, and that will be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. So in your case, I did receive a written recommendation in your matter requesting a $20,000 secured appearance bond based on a review of your history, which already includes a prior for being a prohibited possessor, which did come along with a DOC term. I do believe you are likely facing another term in this matter if found guilty. So in this matter, I am setting that bond. So you do have a $20,000 secured appearance bond with the orders that you're not to have contact with any alleged complainant, witness. You're still not to possess any weapons while on release. Any questions regarding this?
There's no way I can get a free trial?
No, that is not on the table.
Okay, and the bond is the 10%?
It is a secured appearance bond, so yes, you are able to work with a bonding company. As far as what they would require, call them.
Okay, thank you.
Or talk to the officers in the back. They'll be able to give you some help. All right, so we have Mr. Rasmussen and Stephen Leffenwell will be up next. All right, so your full name and date of birth?
Scott M. Rasmussen, 5268.
All right, thank you. And I know you were here yesterday on a new matter that you were just brought in on. So they did find some additional cases. These were both warrants, so I just need to have you come in so I can give you this information as well, okay? So the first one was a probation violation warrant for a petition to revoke that was filed. That is alleging a violation of terms 3 and 5 of your probation. The public defender's been appointed. You have a revocation arraignment hearing July 5th at 8:30, again at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court, and the bond in the warrant's been affirmed. That's a $1,500 secured appearance bond. Your second case is a grand jury warrant that was issued. So this is for an indictment that was filed that alleges 1 count of forgery, possession of a forged instrument, that's a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of theft, obtaining services without paying, also a Class 4 felony, with the offense date of February 17 of 2023. So in that case, public defender's been appointed, arraignment hearing set on July 3rd at 8:30, again at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. And in that matter, I did affirm that bond. That's a $7,000 secured appearance bond. So that is in addition to the bond that you do have yesterday, which I know is a pretty substantial cash bond.
Okay.
These are both secured appearance bonds, so, okay, just in case that one does change or you're able to post it. So you'll get all this information in your paperwork, but do you have any questions regarding these 2 cases that you have now?
I'm good.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have Stephen Leffingwell, and then Gary Carver is going to be up next. All right, so your full name and date of birth?
Stephen Leffingwell, 1-3-2000.
All right, thank you, sir. So you are here for 3 separate cases. So I'll go ahead and start with the new matter you were just brought in on. This is for a new case. This is for a new case out of Superior Court that is alleging 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, also a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, with the offense date of June 28. Public Defender's Office has been appointed to represent you. The status conference is set July 5th, preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30. That's going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. All of these hearings will be. So in this matter, I am doing a placeholder bond in the amount of $50. I'm setting this because you are going to have some other bonds here today. So I want to make sure they know you're in custody in each case, okay? So I'm just doing a minimal bond in your first matter here. So your second case that you have, this one is the warrant that was issued. This is for a direct complaint that's been filed, and that's for 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, both Class 4 felonies, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. That has the offense date of April 18 of 2024. So that has now been filed. So in that case, public defender appointed as well. You have a status conference set July 5th with the preliminary hearing July 8th, both at 8:30. That's going to be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court as well. And in this matter, you do have a $2,000 secured appearance bond. So your third and final matter is your probation case, and that's on the calendar today because a Term 1 violation was issued in that matter. So in that case, public defender appointed as well. Court date is a revocation arraignment hearing July 5th at 8:30 at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. That matter has a $500 secured appearance bond. I know this is a lot of information to take in since you've got 3 cases, all different cases, but do you have any questions regarding any 3 of those?
All of them, are they going to go to my probation court? Because I'm about to be going to withdrawals. Huh?
Okay. Initially, just your probation matter is, okay? So your first court date in your probation case does go to probation court. But after that, since you have some new felony cases, that probation case is likely going to join those. So they're all going to be together, okay? And that's what you want. You want all those cases running together.
Yeah.
So that hopefully, if you do decide to do a resolution on them, that can run together too. That's something to talk to your attorney about, okay? All right. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
All right, if you want to go and step over, you can go and pick up that paperwork.